Hi there. We are now on our 10th mini session. So we are 3 days before Christmas if you celebrate Christmas. But these are our 12 days for holidays and grief around the holidays, and just some little things that Cami and I are putting together to help you. So I hope that you have been watching some of our previous ones, but if not, go back. They're short. They just give you a little bit of honoring for yourself and some coaching tips. So here we go. And this is our 10th, and it is reframing and forgiveness around expectations. So, reframing is a coaching tool that can really help shift perceptions around situation or events that are weighing really heavy. And if you are grieving, which you most likely are because you're watching this, you've probably got some pretty heavy emotions around this holiday time period, regardless of what faith you may or may not believe in. This is just a heavy time because all the energy of the holidays, the various holidays, are surrounding us. There can be so many expectations and pressures around holidays for things to go a certain way. We may have our expectations as the griever, and our family or friends may have expectations for it to go a certain way, like, oh, let's be happy and cheerful. It's the holidays. But this isn't always the way it is, right? Especially when we are grieving. It's really common for feelings of guilt or anger to show up around important dates or times. There could be thoughts of shame or blame when it comes that things aren't going as planned or when expectations aren't met. I just kind of went through that this long weekend. I was meeting with my family. We haven't had our whole family and all our grandkids and everything together, but it was rush, 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 rush. And I was exhausted. And I started feeling anger and frustration and guilt because I wasn't enjoying it as much as I should be. My heart should be full, and I was exhausted by the time we got home last night. When we're feeling the weight of grief on our shoulders, it's normal for our mind to want to blame someone or something for what has happened. Maybe there's even anger or abandonment towards your loved one. I know we don't like thinking that, but there may be anger or abandonment, and all feelings are okay. And it may be because they're not here for the milestones, the meaningful times in our lives, for the events. So, awareness around stories of guilt, feelings of anger, or needs for possibly forgiveness that might be addressed. Think about these questions. Do you have some anger sitting quietly, or maybe not so quietly like me yesterday, within you? Where do you think that anger is arising from? What's really behind it? Where might be the feelings of abandonment be hiding out? Who or what abandoned you? Oftentimes we feel very closed in when we are grieving, that we don't have this wide world of support. Who do you think maybe is not showing up for you, or who has might have abandoned you in your own grief? Is there anybody that you would like to forgive? If so, who is that? Is there any instance where you want some forgiveness for yourself? Are you carrying any guilt? I say anger is, or guilt, excuse me, is anger turned inwards. Think about it. When we're feeling guilty, we're frustrated, angry at ourselves for the woulda, coulda, shouldas, right? And then all of a sudden the guilt shows up, and then we just have this vicious cycle. And so I just would like you to take a minute or two and just reflect on a couple of these questions. I know for myself, I had to say this Buddhist prayer of forgiveness when I went to bed last night. And I also recited it again this morning. And I think I'm going to do it every day because I may be a grief coach. I may try to be helpful and supportive and honoring and compassionate. But there are times that I am a real human being, and sometimes hurt, anger, guilt, frustration will show up in my own life. So, this prayer that I'm reciting to you, and you can look it up on the internet, is if I have harmed anyone in any way, either knowingly or unknowingly through my own confusions, I ask their forgiveness. If anyone has harmed me in any way, either knowingly or unknowingly through their own confusions, I forgive them. And if there's a situation that I'm just not ready to forgive, I forgive myself for that. For all the ways that I harm myself, judge, or be unkind to myself through my own confusions, I forgive myself for that. I love this prayer, and I'll put it in the show notes because it allows us to be human. It kind of reframes when harm feels like it's been done to us, that maybe it wasn't intentional. Maybe the other person was confused. Or if I acted in a way that wasn't honoring to someone else, maybe it was my own confusions. And it's not that I'm bad or wrong, just confused. But I also like that one piece in there because we always think, oh, forgiveness, forgiveness. And we know that forgiveness heals. We know that it helps lighten our heart. Forgiving is forgiving, but it also is forgiving to ourselves because the weight of not being able to let go of the anger or the guilt weighs heavy on us and continues to create that cycle of bad feelings. But the one piece in this prayer is, and if I am not ready to forgive someone, I forgive myself for that. So it takes the weight of the have tos, right? Sometimes we just might not be ready, and that is okay. So don't allow even more guilt fall on your shoulders if you're not quite ready to forgive yourself or others. It's okay. But just think about it. And I would ask you over the next several days, daily say this prayer of forgiveness and just see, does anything shift within you? Do you maybe feel a little bit better? Does it open your eyes to some of the things that might be going on with you? I just encourage you to try it on. So that's our little tip for today is reframing, looking at things from a different lens, from a different perspective. Miracles happen when we change our perspective. I hope you have a blessed day.